Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachariणी Nirvisesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshukharini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauravani Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna. We have discussed till 4-5 shlokas, but I just again wanted to highlight some points. We are doing the 9th chapter. Uh, Almost all cantos we can see Brahmaji's prayers to the Supreme Lord. Every canto we have some prayers of Brahma. That is very interesting. And here, this is also very interesting. And every time the prayers are different. The content and the what is it? Concept is different. Brahma has a different purpose to pray, and every prayer he has some other themes to discuss. So here we can see Brahmaji is praying. Here in this, what he is telling about the living entities and his purpose of creation. That is the purpose. And if you go for 10th canto, if you go 6th canto, so many prayers and the purpose, like 10th canto, the prayers are the most beautiful. It has a different theme to explain. And here the theme is different. And Brahma says, Jato Sumedaya Suchira Nanude Abhaya Najayate Bhagavato Gatirit Jnanyatvadasti Bhagavan Apitan Nasuddham Maya Gunam Itikarajat Ururu Vipasi. Lord Brahma said, My Lord, today after many years of penance, I have come to know about you. Oh, how unfortunate the embodied living entities are that they are unable to know your personality, my Lord. You are the only noble object because there is nothing supreme beyond you. If there is anything supposedly superior to you, it is not the absolute. You exist as a supreme by exhibiting the creative energy of matter. Now, as soon as Brahma got the darshan of Lord, the first thing what happened to him is he is feeling compassionate for the living entities. This is what is the quality. If we get the darshan of Lord, if we are realizing Lord, first quality we develop is compassion. So this set of prayers. If we see, Brahma is feeling compassion for living entities. That's the purpose of his creation also. My Lord, you are the only knowable object because there is nothing supreme beyond you. If there is anything supposedly superior to you, it is not absolute. So even if you feel that there is something supposedly supreme and Lord is telling it is not. So this is what Brahmaji is feeling about the. Now, Prabhupada is the highest peak of ignorance of living entity who are conditioned by metal modes of metal body is that they are unaware of the supreme cause of cosmic manifestation. This is what the scientists are doing research. they are unaware of the supreme cause, and that is the greatest problem. So, unaware of the supreme cause of cosmic manifestation. They do so much researches, but it is not possible. Different people have different theories regarding the supreme cause, but none of them are genuine. The only supreme cause is supreme cause, and the intervening impediments to understand him as such is his illusory energy. And interesting is why we are not able to understand is because of his illusory energy only. The Lord is creating this word, and Lord is also creating the illusory energy so that we don't understand him. The Lord has employed his wonderful material energy in manifesting many wonderful distractions in material world, and the conditions or illusioned by such energy are unable to know the supreme cause. Now, Lord only created this material world and he gave so much illusions also. That is the reason we are not able to understand him. We have sufficient distractions in this world. You can sit in front of TV whole day, whole night. So wonderful distractions in this material world. And the conditions are illusioned by such unable to know the supreme cause. The most stalwart scientists, philosophers, therefore, cannot be accepted as wonderful. They only appear wonderful because they're instruments in the hands of illusory energy. So we should not be, even if there are very big scientists and philosophers and all, we should not be so much bewildered. They are doing so many wonderful things. No, they're instruments. And some are instruments, some are agents. Both are there. And because of them, the general mass of people are also going astray. And illusion, the general mass of people deny the existence supreme and accept foolish products of illusion energy as supreme. So this is actually what is happening. We have to very clearly analyze what is happening here, how Maya is working. Then we'll be able to come out of it. One can know the supreme cause, the personality of Godhead, by the causeless mercy of Lord, which is bestowed upon Lord's pure devotees like Brahma and those in his disciplic sections. By acts of penance only was Lord Brahma able to see Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And this is the only method. Basically, this method is called concentration. So if somebody is able to concentrate, he is able to, he can get the darshan of Lord. Now, to the degree a person concentrates, but what is happening? People are concentrating on matter. And even if somebody concentrate on matter, he'll also able to develop something very deep. Like all these big scientists, Einstein or Kelvin or Newton, they are also able to concentrate. But what they did, they concentrated on matter. And that's why they're able to get so many deep information, so much information about the matter. But if somebody is able to concentrate on the Supreme in a right direction, then he'll be able to understand the Supreme also. They may reach to the point, like Stephen Hawking, he has a theory. He says, so many universes are coming. They say they come from black hole. And they are continuously coming from the, like bubbles in a water, uh, boiling water bubbles. He says bubbles in a water, how they appear from the bottom. Like that, the universes are appearing and they appear from black hole. That means till where they could reach? They could reach to the body of Mahavishnu, the pores of Mahavishnu. But after that, they could not reach further. Of course, even they didn't reach that. But I'm just giving. They understood that universes are coming and expanding, but they're not understanding from where they are coming. That is the power of why? Because they lack penance. Brahma could see because he performed penance in right direction. Then they will be able to understand. Otherwise, this is a very nice understanding how we have to see that the concentration is needed on, we have to remove the concentration from matter and place it on Krishna. That is how we will be able to come out. Otherwise, there is no way to come out of this material existence. So tough. Slowly, by hearing this, our meditation changes. And Brahma was extremely satisfied upon observing the magnificent body and opulence of Lord, and he admitted that nothing can be compared to him. Only by penance can one appreciate the beauty. So this is a very important point. Only by penance can one appreciate the beauty and opulence of the Lord. And when one is acquainted with the beauty and opulence, one is no longer attracted to any other. That is the danger. if you are, if you want to enjoy this material world, then don't look at the beauty. Beauty and opulence, no longer. And this is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Param Drishtva Nivar. Foolish human beings who do not endeavor to investigate the supreme beauty and opulence of the Lord are here condemned by Brahma. It is imperative that every human being try for such knowledge, and if anyone does not do so, his life is spoiled. Anything that is beautiful and opulent in the material sense is enjoyed by those living entities who are like crows. This is sense enjoyment for those living entities only. Crows always engage in picking up the rejected garbage, whereas the white ducks do not mix with the crows. Rather, they take pleasure in transparent lakes with lotus flowers surrounded by beautiful orchids. This is actually what Brahmaji is trying to speak. Next shloka says, Rupam Yadetat Avabodha Rotsodayena Shashvannivittatamasa Sadanugrahaya Adau Grihitamavatar Sataika Bijam Yanna Vipadma Avanan Aham Ai Avirasan. The form which I see is eternally free from material contamination and has advented to show mercy to the devotees as a manifestation of internal potency. This incarnation is origin of many other incarnations, and I am born in the lotus flower. So here it says that the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the executive heads of three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, ignorance, are generated from Garbhodaksha Vishnu, who is described herein by Brahma. From Karanadaksha Vishnu, many Vishnu incarnations expand at different ages in duration of cosmic manifestation. They are expanded only for the transcendental happiness of pure devotees. Now, Brahma is looking at Garbhodaksha and Vishnu and is telling all the incarnations are coming from you. And Prabhupada in the purport is writing, from Karanadaksha Vishnu, many Vishnu incarnations expand at different ages in the duration of cosmic manifestation. So, both are right only. Both are same person. That's it. They are expanded only for transcendental happiness of pure devotees. So here we have discussed about there are Purusha Avataras and Leela Avataras. So the main difference is they are neutral. But whereas Leela Avataras, they reciprocate. Means they show some partiality, looks like partiality to devotees. So Purusha Avataras, they don't show partiality. They taman prapadyante. You go, you say, my dear Lord, I want you as a devotee, he will respond as devotee. I want you as my master, he will respond as master. If he says, I don't think you exist, he will say, okay, I don't exist. This is the difference. So when Karanadaksha Vishnu or Kshirodaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, they are Purusha Avataras. That is the main reason where Advaita Acharya, so he wanted Lord Krishna to appear. So this is the main reason. Why? Advaita Acharya is who? Mahavishnu. So because he is Mahavishnu, he is in a neutral state. But Krishna is not neutral. And all other avatars, they are not neutral. They show some compassion and they force living entity to become devotees. Some sort of force, not so much. But if he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, full force. So he comes as Krishna, but more as a devotee only, because devotee can force. Krishna gives instructions, sometimes he tells. But in this case of Mahavishnu, they are very neutral. Leela Avataras, we can see that Lord is showing compassion to monkeys as Lord Rama. He is coming as Narsingadev, and he's so much caressing Prahlad, showing his love. In that way, there is some sort. But that's why Advaita Acharya he's praying. Because even though he's Mahavishnu, he cannot do the job. Why? He is neutral. That's why he does not do the job. But whereas Lord, he is not neutral. That's why when Lord appears in different avatars, that's the reason Lord appears as different avatars. As Mahavishnu is just watching. They expand only for transcendental happiness of the pure devotees. The incarnations of Vishnu, who appear different ages and times, are never to be compared to the conditioned souls. Vishnu Tattvas are not to be compared to deities like Brahma and Shiva, nor are they at the same level. Anyone who compares them is called a Pashandi or infidel. Tamah Saha, mentioned here in the material world and the spiritual world, are completely separated existence from Tamah. Therefore, the spiritual nature is called Avabodha Rasa or Avarodha Rasa. Avarodha means that which completely nullifies. In the transcendence, there is no chance of material contact by enemies. Brahma is the first living being, and therefore he mentions his birth from the lotus flower generated from the abdomen of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. That's 3. Nata param paramayad bhavata swarupam anandamatram avikalpam avidyaro varchah pashyami vishvasijamekha avishvamatman bhutendriyatmakamadhyastha upashritosmi. O my Lord, I do not see a form superior to your present form of eternal bliss and knowledge in your impersonal Brahman effulgence in the spiritual sky. There is no occasional change and no deterioration of internal potency. I surrender unto you because whereas I am proud of material bodies and senses, your Lordship is the cause of manifestation. So he is superior to, there is nobody superior to your form. He says that I surrender unto you. This is the first thing Brahma did. What he did, he surrendered. And what he understood is the cause of cosmic manifestation, and he is untouched by matter. These are the 2 qualities Brahma recognized. He is doing it but is not affected. It's so difficult actually. If I create, after creating, if I make a house, I work very hard, 20 years, and I made a house with all loans and paying my EM. After 20 years, the house is completely on my name. All the EMIs are clear. Now, if somebody says, okay, now fine, now leave the house. How much difficult it is. As soon as we create, we become attached. But Lord is creating, but is unaffected. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavanyaschasmi tattvataha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead can only be partially known and only by the process of devotional service to the Lord. Lord Brahma became aware that the Supreme Lord Krishna has many eternal blissful forms of knowledge. He has described such expansions of the Supreme Lord, Govinda, in his Brahma Samhita. Advaitam Achittamanadimanantarupam Attim Purana Purusham Navayogmanam Cha Vedeshu Durlamam Durlamak Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham. I worship the permeable Lord who is non-dual and infallible. He is the original cause, the cause of all causes, who expands in many forms. Although he is the oldest personality, he is ever youthful. Unaffected by old age, the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be known by academic wisdom of the Vedas. One has to approach the pure devotee of Lord to understand him. This is the point proposition. To understand Lord, one has to approach the pure devotees. Otherwise, it is not possible. The only way to understand the Lord as He is by devotional service and by approaching a devotee of Lord who always has the Lord in his heart. By devotional perfection, one can understand the impersonal Brahmajyoti is only a partial representation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is right. In the material world also, internal creator is Lord himself. He brings about creation of Brahma, who becomes the subordinate creator empowered by the Lord. Text 4. Tattvahidam bhuvana mangala mangalaya jnanena smanudarishitam tat upasakana tasmai namo bhagavate navidema tubhyam yo nadrito narakabha gabhir asat prasanga. In the present form or your transcendental form, expanded by the Supreme Personality of God, Sri Krishna, is equally auspicious for all the universes. Since you have manifested this eternal form, upon whom your devotees meditate, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Those who are destined to be dispatched to the path of hell neglect your personal form because of speculation on material topics. Now, the previous shloka, third shloka, Brahmaji surrenders. After surrendering, what he is doing? He is now here appreciating how Lord is, first thing is telling how Lord is uh, equally auspicious for all the universes. And you have since you have manifested the eternal personal form upon whom your devotee meditate. The Lord has a personal form upon whom the devotees meditate. And he says, those who are destined to dispatch to path of hell neglect your personal form. So these are the 3 points. He's telling you are auspicious, your form is what is meditated by devotees, and non-devotees, they don't meditate, they go to hell. Prabhupada writes, regarding the personal and impersonal feature of the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personal forms exhibited by the Lord is in his different plenary expansions are all for the benediction of the universe. The personal form of Lord is also wonderful meditation. So, the personal form of Lord is also worshipped in meditation as a super Parama. But the impersonal Brahmajyoti is not worshipped. That means super soul is also a form, but it is not complete in the sense. It does not exhibit all the opulences. Person who are addicted to the impersonal feature of Lord, whether in meditation or otherwise, are all pilgrimage of hell, because as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the association of impersonalist is condemned herein. This nowadays, now many people are putting status of Premanand Baba, but he is speaking Mayavada, so we have to be careful. Looks like very devotional, but unfortunately, he's telling the Jiva can become Ishvara. Such a bogus philosophy. I am directly taking his name so that devotees, many are there going and taking initiation from him in ISKCON only. ISKCON devotees, they are going and taking shelter of him. But he is speaking now Maya, and that is actually the problem. If you don't properly hear from the scriptures, ultimately people end up in Maya. There is no doubt in it. That's why Acharyas painstakingly wrote all the commentaries and also to protect somebody who is sincere. Who is sincere, they will read these commentaries and they will survive. Otherwise, they cannot survive. Who does not read cannot survive. Some reading should be there. some hearing should be. And of course, there should be proper source. Somebody is lazy means eventually he will create his own philosophy, and then he will. Any sincere person, they should work hard to understand what exactly the Shastra is telling. Otherwise, they'll create their own philosophy, and then they will be completely gone. This is happening to many people. If you don't read and hear properly from proper source, gone. We have to hear proper books. We should not just read everything. All the plenary expansions of the personality of Godhead are equally potent as confirmed in Brahma Samhita. Deepa Shreva Dashantar Vampipeta, Deepayate Viruddha Hetu Samana Dharma, Vistraghiya Vicha Vishnutaya Vibhavati, Govindamadi Purusham Tamahim Bhajam. Lord expands himself as the flames of fire expanded one after another. Although Sri Krishna, Govinda accepted the original flame, the Supreme Person, all his expansions such as Rama, Narsimha and Varaha are as potent as the original Lord. All such expanded forms are transcendental. Now, why Lord expands? One of the reason is he wanted to enjoy differentness. That's the reason. As Lord Rama, he enjoys in certain way. As Varaha, he enjoys certain way. Narsimhadev, he enjoys certain way. Every form, Lord enjoys in a certain way. And the highest form of enjoyment Lord gets is in form of Krishna. That is different. But other forms also he gets some pleasure. So he want to have Akila Rasam. He enjoys all types. There is no jugglery of words or activities in the transcendental kingdom of Lord. All the Lord's form are transcendental and such manifestations are ever identical. The partial form of Lord exhibited to a devotee is not mundane. Even though the devotee may be full of material desires, nor is he manifested under the influence of material energy, as is foolishly considered by the impersonalists. The impersonalists who consider the transcendental form of Lord to be the protector of material world are surely destined to hell. So, if you take Lord's form as material, surely destined. So, Mayavadi has three things. First thing they say, Lord's form is material. Second type of Mayavadi is that we all can become Krishna. Third type will say, means according to them, you do little tapasya and you can become Krishna. Krishna did tapasya. And the third type of Mayavadi, these fellows, they say, we are all Krishna. They will say, we are Krishna. Some say, I am Krishna. So this type of another category. He says, we are all Lord only. This is Mayavadi. I say, I am Krishna. That is Mayavadi. We all can become Krishna by tapasya. That is Mayavadi. Arey, what is Krishna? He is an ordinary person. He is a little moralist. So all these three categories are Mayavadi. They are all destined to hell. Tadīya charanam bhujakoṣagandam yajnanti karna vivarai shrutivātanītam bhaktya grihīta charana paraya chatesham paishinata tadayam puruhat swapumsam. O my Lord, persons who smell the aroma of your lotus feet carried by the air of Vedic sound to the holes or the ears accept your devotional service. For them, you are never separated from the lotus of their heart. Now he is appreciating the Lord. He's seeing how the Lord is showing his compassion, mercy to the living entities. First, he told how impersonalists they don't understand, they're destined to hell. Now he's telling how the personal form of Lord is appreciating by devotees, how they are in great ecstasy. But they have never separated from their lotus heart. They are in great ecstasy. This is for the pure devotee of Lord, there is nothing beyond the lotus feet of the Lord. So the previous shloka, third shloka is surrendered. Fourth he said how these people are not accepting your personal form. And here about devotees, how they accept the personal form and meditate on the lotus feet. For the pure devotee of Lord, there is nothing beyond the lotus feet of Lord. And the Lord knows that such devotees do not wish anything more than that. The word "tu" specifically establishes this fact. The Lord also does not wish to be separated from the lotus heart of those pure devotees. That is the transcendental relationship between the pure devotee and the personality of Godhead. Because the Lord do not wish to separate himself from the heart of such pure devotees, it is understood that they are specifically dear to him than the impersonalist. The relationship of a pure devotee to Lord develops because of devotional service to Lord on the authentic base of Vedic authority. Such pure devotees are not mundane sentimentalists, but are factually restless because their activities are supported by the Vedic authority who have given oral reception to the fact mentioned in the Vedic literature. Prabhupada, the prayer, the word paraya is very significant. Para bhakti or the spontaneous love of God is the basis of an intimate relationship with the Lord. This highest stage of relation with the Lord can be attained simply by hearing about Him. This is very special about Gaudiya Vaishnavas. They want to develop this intimate, loving relationship with the Lord. Everybody speaks about bhakti, but the way it is presented by Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas is completely different. Ramani Acharya spoke about bhakti, Madhvacharya spoke about bhakti. Everybody told they have their definitions of bhakti. Ultimately, their goal of bhakti is to attain mukti. But here in our parampara, the goal of bhakti is to develop an intimate relation with the Lord, not just mukti. Tavad dravina deha sura suhur nimittam shokas praha paribhavo vipuluschalobha Svatmam metya asat avagraha artha moolam yavannate navirim abhayam pravanita loka. My Lord, the people of the world are embraced by material existence. Now he is feeling compassion for the living entity. So he told about the people who don't surrender. People who surrendered, they go to hell. These people enjoy. Now he's telling about the conditioned souls, how they are suffering. Oh my Lord, the people of the world are embraced by all material existence. They are always afraid. They always try to protect their wealth, body, and friends. They are filled with lamentation and unlawful desires concerning their paraphernalia, and they ferociously base their undertaking on the perishable conception of me, my, and mine. As long as they do not take shelter of your saved lotus feet, they are full of such anxieties. Very nice purpose. And they say that as long as they do not take shelter of your lotus feet, they are full of such anxieties. One may question how one can always think of Lord incarnate to his name, fame, qualities, etc., if one is embraced by the thoughts of family affairs. Everyone in the material world is full of thoughts about how to maintain his family, how to protect his wealth, how to keep pace with the friends and relatives, etc. Thus, he is always in fear and lamentation, trying to maintain the status quo. This is what happens to people in this world. They are always in anxiety. Thus, is always in fear, lamentation, trying to maintain his status quo. So that's why the question is, how can one always think of Lord in regards to his name, fame, etc., if one is embraced by thoughts of family affairs, right? This is a very practical question. So, in answer to this question, this verse explained by Brahmaji is very appropriate. He says, a pure devotee of Lord never thinks of himself as a proprietor of the house. This is the first point. A pure devotee, first point is, never thinks of himself as the proprietor. He surrenders everything under the supreme control of the Lord, and thus he has no fear of maintaining his family because he surrenders. He never thinks he's a proprietor, he surrenders, and thus he is no fear of for maintaining his family or protecting the interests of his family. Why? Because of his surrender, he no longer has any attraction for wealth. Even if there is attraction for wealth, it is not for sense gratification, but for service of the Lord. A pure devotee may appear to be attracted by accumulating wealth just like an ordinary man. But the difference is that the devotee acquires money for service of the Lord, whereas ordinary man acquires money for sense gratification. So this is the main difference. Thus, the acquisition of wealth by a devotee is not the source of anxiety as is the cause of worldly. And because a pure devotee accepts everything for the purpose of serving the Lord, the poisonous teeth of accumulating wealth are extracted. So nicely, Professor. So, because the pure devotee accepts everything for the purpose of serving the Lord, the poisonous teeth of accumulating wealth is extracted. If the snake has its poisonous teeth, so what happens is, if we are enjoying something, and if you say, my dear Lord, I don't want to do it, but some on condition I am enjoying, please forgive me. Even if he thinks little sad about that enjoyment, it comes under Arop Siddha Bhakti. If you feel sorry that, oh, I am not supposed to watch TV, but I spent 2 hours watching TV and some movie, then we pray to Lord, oh Lord, I'm sorry, you should not have done it, but somehow it happened. So please forgive. But there's no problem. If the snake, then what happens? This is the main thing happens. The poisonous teeth of accumulation, that is destroyed, which is very important for us. The poisonous teeth of accumulation. This is what will go away if you offer it to Krishna. If a snake has poison, teeth is removed and bites a man, there is no factual effect. Similarly, wealth accumulated for the cause of Lord has no poisonous teeth and effect is not fatal. A pure devotee is never entangled in material worldly affairs, even though he may remain in world like an ordinary. Text 7. Daive, 1 minute. दैवेन ते हतबुद्धयो भगवत् प्रसंगात् सर्वाशुभोपशमनात् विमुखेन्द्रियाणि कुर्वन्ति कामसुखलेश लवायधीन लोभाभिभूतमनसो Kushalani Sarva. He says that, my Lord, persons who are bereft of all auspiciousness performs bereft of all auspicious performances of chanting and hearing about your transcendent activities are certainly unfortunate and are also bereft of good sense. They engage in auspicious activities, enjoying sense gratification for a very little while. This is actually what happens to the people who are not having any sukriti, bereft of all pious, all auspicious performances. They cannot appreciate only. They become very upset if some kirtan happens. They engage in inauspicious activities, enjoying sense enjoyment for a little while. And this is actually what holds them. Now, Prabhupada is asking a very interesting question. So here the previous he asked the question, now how can we never think, the pure devotee Lord never thinks of himself as, sorry. Yeah, one more question. How one can always think of Lord in regard to name, fame, qualities, etc. And the answer is that he never thinks only about himself. He's always thinking, uh, I am surrendered everything to supreme control of Lord, and thus he has no fear for maintaining family or promoting any family interest. And by surrendering, any attraction for wealth. So that is the most important one. He does not feel any attraction for wealth. Even if there is situation of wealth, there is not for sense gratification in us. Now here, this shloka is, my Lord, they are bereft. And Prabhupada asking another question. The next question is, why people are against such auspicious activities? So that is a very important question. Why people are against such auspicious activities standing, while which can bring total freedom from the cause of anxiety of material existence. The only answer to this question is that they are unfortunate because of supreme controller due to their offensive activities performed simply for the sake of sense gratification. Answer is big. We'll try to meditate what Prabhupada is telling here. The only answer why people are not surrendering, even though hearing and chanting looks simple, the only answer to this question is that they're unfortunate because of supernatural control due to their offensive activities performed simply for the sake of sense gratification. Of course, they get unlimited sense gratification, but Lord's pure devotees, however, take compassion upon such unfortunate persons and in a missionary spirit try to persuade them to take to the limit of devotional service. Only by the grace of pure devotees can such information, unfortunate men, be elevated to the position of transcendental service. Text 8. Tritiridhatubhirimam imamahura aryamana sitoshnavatarasa varashair titare daraja kamahninachutaraso chasudarbhena sampashyato mana urukramasīdate me. This is, O great creator, my Lord, all these poor creatures are constantly perplexed by hunger, thirst, severe colds, scratch and bile, secretion and bile. Attracted by coughing winter, blasting summer, rains, and many other disturbing elements, and overwhelmed by strong, indefatigable sex urges and indomitable anger. I take pity on them, and I am very much aggrieved for them. This is how Brahma is speaking. So people are very happy to do all these activities. They want to be more and more disturbed. They go to some rave parties and all, so that they voluntarily get disturbed by that. And here, and now summer is too heavy in India. It is this year is going to be a big punishment, and many are going it. And then winter is also anyway there, and many other disturbing elements. And Brahmaji is feeling compassion for such people. It's like purity out of Lord like Brahma and persons in a disciplic session are always unhappy to see the perplexities of conditioned souls who are suffering on the onslaught of the threefold miseries which pertain to the body and mind, to the disturbance of mental nature, and so many other such mental disadvantages. Not knowing adequate measures for relieving such difficulties, suffering persons sometimes pose themselves as leaders of people, and unfortunate followers are put into further disadvantage. So this is one point. Okay. Not knowing the adequate measures for leader of people, and unfortunate followers are put into the further disadvantage, such as so-called leadership. This is actually this is like blind misleading another blind man, and both of them will fall into it. Therefore, unless the devotee of Lord takes pity on them and teach them the right path, their lives are hopeless failures. The devotees of Lord who voluntarily take responsibility of imparting good service senses to the foolish materialistic sense enjoyer are as condemned as Lord Brahma. We'll just do one text. Yavat Gatavam idam atmana indriyaha maya balam bhagavato jana isha prishte tvanna smritis asau parikshane प्रतिक्षणे व्याप्तादुहकं नवहं बृहति क्रियार्था. It says that, my lord, the material miseries are most without factual existence for the soul. Yet, as long as the condition so sees the body as meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement of material miseries, being influenced by your external energy. This is a very nice shloka. We'll try to discuss this also tomorrow also this little bit. The whole trouble of living entity in material existence is that he has independent conception of life. He is always dependent on the rules of the Supreme Lord in both the conditioned and liberated states. But to the influence of external energy, the conditioned soul thinks himself independent of the Supreme. This is his constitutional position is to dovetail everything himself with the desire of the supreme will. But as long as he does not do so, he is sure to drag on in the shackles of material bondage, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Ajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. He has to give up all sorts of plans manufactured by mental concoction. The living entity has to dovetail himself with the supreme. That will help him to get out of the entanglement of material existence. We will end here. Hope there is no questions, comments. Tomorrow we'll continue. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.